Welcome to link 5. This link is traditionally called the six senses: sight, smell, hearing, taste, touch, and mind. These are the ways that we touch reality. The first four links are mostly running in the background. We forget the present, we build a world, awareness filters through that world, then we divide the world into labels, shapes, and outlines. Now, the senses come alive. We need a way to experience reality. Well, the senses are that way. But in the 12 links chain, the senses are not simply coming online to experience clearly. They're coming online to experience the world that has already been constructed. They're checking the world, confirming it, updating it. So this is the next level after filtered awareness and labels. The system turns on. In our video game metaphor, the world has been generated, the engine is rendering it, and now there's a playable character. There's a character that can look, listen, sense, think, and interact with the world. We aren't playing the game yet, but we have a character in the world that's able to interact. But we've not quite moved into a specific sensation arising yet. Go ahead and notice right now. Your senses are already online, even if there's no strong sensation happening. Your eyes, ears, body, mind are available. It's kind of like a radar. The senses are active. They're scanning, checking, waiting. They're ready for information to show up. And just like the rest of the links, we need this. Everything we know comes through these channels. Every piece of information we've ever received has come through the senses in some way. Sometimes our biggest mistakes come from thinking that our ideas, beliefs, or information came from somewhere other than our senses. But it all comes through these channels. So the senses are absolutely necessary. They allow experience to appear. The question is whether they are open to experience or whether they are mostly searching for confirmation of what we already expect. So how does this link show up? The senses are active before anything particularly strong appears. They're online, scanning, checking, waiting. But when they're conditioned by the earlier links, they're not just open to whatever shows up. They're often looking for what is expected. They're confirming or updating the world that has already been built. So you walk into a room. Your eyes scan the room. Your ears listen. Your mind checks. What's here? Is this what I expect? Is anything different? Is anything wrong? Is anything important? Most of the time, nothing dramatic shows up. The senses check the room, confirm the expected world, and move on. This can be very subtle, though. We think we are just seeing the room, but often we are seeing through expectation. Or we think we're just hearing a conversation, but often we are listening for what we already think is there. Or we think we're just having thoughts, but often thought is reinforcing the same patterns. So this link shows up as a kind of sensory tunnel vision, not because the senses are bad, but just because they are operating inside the world that has already been constructed. So how do we encounter this in real life? A very common example is walking into a familiar room. Most of the time, You don't really look at the room freshly. You scan it. The eyes check what they expect to see. The ears check what they expect to hear. And the mind checks whether anything is out of place. And unless something is wildly outside of expectation, most of it barely registers. The senses are working, but they're not wide open. They're doing what they often do, checking the world against the map. This also happens in conversations. Notice how often we are listening for what we expect someone to say. We pick out the tone we expected. We hear the argument we expected. We notice the part that confirms our view. And when this happens, we're not actually hearing the person freshly. We hear through our pattern. This is especially obvious with thought. Thought can keep reinforcing the same structure, the same story, the same interpretation, the same expectation. So throughout the day, you might ask, am I actually seeing this? Am I actually hearing this? Am I sensing what's here, or am I mostly checking for what I expected? That's the difference this link is pointing towards. So how do we get trapped with this link? When the senses are searching for confirmation, we see what we expect to see, hear what we expect to hear, and with thought, the system starts looping. Thought reinforces the patterns shape what we notice, and what we notice confirms the expected structure. Our experience becomes narrow. We walk into a room and catch only the parts we expected, unless something is so outside the pattern that it breaks through. We talk with someone and hear the parts that fit the version of them that we already have. We look at the world, but we are not fully receiving it. This all leads to reinforcing existing patterns, beliefs, preferences, leading to greater anxiety, distress, and prevents us from living vibrantly, openly in each moment. That's the trapped version. But this link can also be freed. When this link is freed, the senses are open to whatever experience is. We're not searching for confirmation. We're not trying to make the moment fit the map. Seeing is just seeing. Hearing is just hearing. Thinking is just thinking. Experience is allowed to show up however it shows up. And something important here, the senses don't turn off. They still function. The body still senses. The mind still thinks. The system is still active, but it's not so narrow. All of experience is vibrant. The shift is from checking and confirming to receiving and noticing. That's the freed version. The senses are online, but they're open. To practice this, pause throughout the day and notice what's happening through the senses. Notice the environment. Notice how often tunnel vision appears. Notice how often you only see, hear, feel, or think what you expect. And ask, am I looking for something, or am I simply receiving? Am I actually hearing? Am I actually seeing? Practice this in conversations. Notice whether you are really hearing the other person or whether you're picking out the part of the conversation that confirms what you already thought. You can also practice this by looking at someone. Just look at someone and really see them. Notice the difference between seeing through the filter and simply seeing. Drop all the filters. So let's sit together. For this one, let's keep eyes open. Just allow the senses to be open. Notice not just the obvious appearances, but the fact that the senses are always active, ready, receptive. Just notice whatever is being seen, heard. Notice whatever thoughts show up. And just get out of the way. Just notice the feeling of vitality of just allowing our senses to be open without any attempts to confirm, deny, change, or do anything. Feel how much life is in this. We're not looking at the sensations themselves yet. Just notice the open quality of being alive, being awake, having the senses operational. If we really settle, see if you might notice something subtle here. We often assume that the senses come first and the labels come after. But here you may begin to notice that the labels and expectations are already operating before the senses even check the world. Don't take my word for it. See if you can see it. When we drop into the senses without needing labels, without searching for confirmation, we're not so boxed in. So simply experience the senses and loosen that radar. Well, I hope that today's session helped to loosen this feeling of seeking. So as you go about the day, just take in experience. All of it. Break out of that box. Live vibrantly and alive. And I'll see you here next time for the next link, Link 6. Thank you for your practice.